Welcome to the explainer. We're actually going to skip the usual preamble today because we're dropping right into a high-stakes corporate dilemma. We're talking about a situation where your integrity is literally on the line, and, well, your career could hang in the balance. Let's get into it. So, I want you to imagine being Arjan for a second. You're a new employee, you're super eager to prove yourself, right? But suddenly the HR director is pressuring you. They want you to hire the CEO's highly unqualified friend, Adrian, for a really crucial safety compliance role. And why? Just to, quote, keep the big boss happy. It's a classic loyalty trap. So what do? Do you push back? Or do you kinda just nod and agree? Part 1. The ethics of silence. The danger of staying quiet. Okay, let's dive into this. That intense pressure Arjun is feeling, it leads to a core problem facing so many organizations today: employee silence. Researcher Anderson actually defines this as a significant threat to organizational success. Basically, it's what happens when employees stay quiet, even though they clearly recognize unethical behavior right in front of them. People stay silent out of fear of retaliation, or maybe just out of this misplaced loyalty to their boss. But here's the thing. That silence, it acts like an incubator for groupthink, and it fundamentally threatens the company's very survival. It creates this really stark contrast. Sure, the short-term comfort of loyalty and favoritism definitely feels easier in the moment, right? Just hire the CEO's friend, avoid the conflict, be done with it. But man, the alternative is organizational collapse. There's this research by Smith from 2004 that explicitly warns us about this. A society, or in this case a company, whose members just pursue self-interest without a sense of justice, it will eventually collapse. Favoritism isn't just, slightly unfair. It is a structural crack in the very foundation of the business. Part 2. Meet the GVV Approach, moving from recognition to action. Part 3. The 3 essential questions. Analyzing the battlefield. So how do we actually fix this silence? Well, we use GVV, or giving voice to values. This is a concrete, completely actionable pedagogical tool designed to empower you to move from simply recognizing an ethical dilemma to actually acting on your principles. And to apply GVV properly, we kind of have to treat the situation almost like a strategy game before we ever even walk into the room. Let's break down these 3 essential questions from researchers Painter, Moreland, and Sleegers. First up, what are the main arguments or rationalizations I need to counter? For Arjun, it's the rationalization of favoritism, right? This whole idea that Adrian will be a great cultural fit. Second, what is at stake for all parties involved? Well, if Adrian is hired, the company risks a massive safety compliance disaster. But if he isn't, the CEO's ego might get bruised. And third, what levers can I actually use to influence the decision makers? Arjun realizes his best lever here is pointing out the tangible financial and reputational risks to the company itself. Part 4. Scripting your ethical pushback, the GVV playbook. All right, so once you have your answers, you build a literal script before the confrontation actually happens. Seriously, you write it down. You do this by predicting the defensive pushback the leader might use. So the CEO might say something like, well, communication will be more natural. Then you craft your logical answers, your levers. Arjun counters with, he lacks specific safety compliance skills. Then the CEO might push back again, saying, a team can just cover his lack of experience. And Arjun's factual counter is, this increases operating costs and damages our reputation. You see what's happening here? You are intentionally pivoting their self-interest away from personal favoritism and moving it toward protecting their own company. It's brilliant. But having the script is really only half the battle. You've got to deliver it correctly. One of the professionals from our source material reflected on this after successfully pushing back against a company president over a really critical materials dispute. Their big takeaway? You must speak with security and without doubt. Delivering your script with unwavering confidence ensures your ideas are actually taken seriously. Because let's face it, if you sound hesitant, you are going to be ignored for sure. Part 5. The Arjun Case Study. GVV in the real world. Okay, let's see this in action and step straight into the CEO's office. The tension is super high, and Arjun is putting his exact script into play. As the meeting starts, the CEO tries to rationalize the hire, exactly as Arjun predicted he would. The CEO says, yes, I'm aware of the risk, but communication in this new role as operations manager will be more natural. The CEO is literally bringing personal ties into a professional decision. It is a textbook rationalization. So the crucial point here is exactly how Arjun responds, and he executes his script flawlessly. He looks right at the CEO and says, "We must consider that we're going to increase operating costs. It would seem like an act of favoritism and be unfair." Notice what Arjun didn't do there. He didn't launch a personal attack on the CEO's friend. He definitely didn't call the CEO corrupt. He just calmly focused on the factual risk to operations and the organizational bottom line. And guys, look at the incredible outcome here. The CEO responds with, "I genuinely appreciate your courage and your values. I need this to avoid any groupthink." No way, right? But it's true. Because Arjun had a logical, fact-based script and delivered it with total confidence, the CEO actually appreciated the pushback. Arjun successfully prevented a disastrous, totally biased decision that honestly could have severely damaged the company's reputation. Part 6. Achieving the ultimate goal. Finding mutually agreeable solutions. Look, at the end of the day, GVV isn't about destroying your workplace relationships. It's definitely not about playing the role of a corporate martyr either. It's actually about collaboration. It is entirely possible to maintain your personal values, things like honesty and transparency, while simultaneously supporting the long-term organizational success of the business. Using GVV allows you, as a professional, to keep your integrity completely intact. And honestly, by challenging bad decisions with solid, undeniable logic, you actually boost your standing in the eyes of leadership, all while protecting the company you work for. Talk about a win-win. So let's wrap this up. Here is your cohesive strategy and clear playbook. Step 1. Recognize the dilemma and flat out refuse to participate in the ethics of silence. Step 2. Ask the 3 essential questions to find your leverage. Step 3. Write out your script and deliver it with absolute confidence. And step 4, achieve mutual success by aligning ethical choices with the company's long-term interests. Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. When the time comes, and listen, if you're a working professional, the time will come, will you prioritize transparency, or will you surrender to the ethics of silence? The GVV framework is right there, yours to use. So the next time you face an ethical dilemma, don't just recognize it, act on it. Thank you so much for diving into this with us today.